Mary Mallon's story began in Ireland, where she was born in 1869. The lush green fields and quaint villages of her homeland were a stark contrast to the life she would soon embark upon. At the age of 15, she journeyed across the Atlantic, seeking a better life in the bustling United States. The voyage was long and arduous, filled with hope and uncertainty, as she left behind everything she knew. Landing in New York City, Mary found work as a cook, a common profession for immigrant women at the time. The city was a melting pot of cultures and opportunities, and Mary quickly adapted to her new surroundings. She had a talent for creating delicious meals, and soon she was working for wealthy families in New York. Her reputation as an excellent cook spread, and she was in high demand among the elite. Little did she know her culinary skills would inadvertently intertwine with a silent threat: typhoid fever. The kitchens where she worked were pristine, but the danger lurked unseen. Mary carried the bacteria Salmonella typhi, but she never showed any symptoms. This made her a hidden carrier, a walking vessel of the disease. She was an asymptomatic carrier, unknowingly spreading the disease wherever she went. Her presence in the kitchens of New York's wealthy homes would soon lead to a series of outbreaks, forever changing the course of her life and public health history. In the summer of 1906, a wealthy family living on Long Island hired Mary Mallon as their cook. Mary, an Irish immigrant, was known for her culinary skills and had worked for several affluent families in the area. Soon after her arrival, several members of the household fell ill with typhoid fever. The sudden outbreak puzzled the family, as they had always been cautious about their health and hygiene. Typhoid fever was a serious health concern in the early 20th century. It was a highly contagious disease that could spread rapidly in communities, causing widespread panic and fear. It spread through contaminated food and water, causing high fever, stomach cramps, and even death. The lack of proper sanitation and clean water sources made it difficult to control the spread of the disease. Health officials were called in to investigate the outbreak at the Long Island home. They meticulously examined the household, looking for any possible sources of contamination. They suspected a cook might be the source, but they couldn't find any evidence to confirm their suspicions. The idea of a healthy carrier was not yet widely understood, making their investigation even more challenging. However, this was just the beginning of a string of typhoid outbreaks linked to Mary Mallon. Over the next few years, she would be associated with multiple cases, earning her the infamous nickname Typhoid Mary. As Mary moved from one household to another, typhoid fever seemed to follow her. Health officials began to connect the dots. They noticed that every time a typhoid outbreak occurred in a wealthy household, Mary had been working there. George Soper, a sanitary engineer, was brought in to investigate the mysterious outbreaks. Soper tracked down Mary, who was working for a family in New York City. He questioned her about her previous employment and her health. Mary denied ever having typhoid fever and refused to provide blood and stool samples. Mary's refusal to cooperate with health officials led to a tense and dramatic standoff in the middle of a bustling public area. The situation escalated quickly, and the police were called in to intervene. Mary was forcibly taken to a hospital despite her protests and the crowd's growing unease. At the hospital, extensive tests were conducted, which confirmed that she was indeed a carrier of typhoid fever. This revelation sent shockwaves through the community. As a result, Mary was quarantined against her will on North Brother Island, a remote and isolated location in New York City's East River. The island became her prison. She became infamously known as Typhoid Mary, a label that would forever brand her as a public health threat and a symbol of the dangers of asymptomatic carriers. Mary's case ignited a fierce debate about the ethical dilemmas surrounding individual rights versus public safety. The public was divided. Some people believed she was unjustly treated and that her rights were violated, while others argued that her quarantine was a necessary measure to protect the public from a deadly disease. Even today, Mary's story remains relevant, serving as a poignant reminder of the ongoing challenges we face in balancing individual liberty with the collective need to protect public health. It underscores the complexities and ethical dilemmas that arise in public health crises, urging us to reflect on our values and responsibilities.